Welcome back, I'm Christopher, and today we're taking a walk up a windy green hill in Somerset, England, the place where Peter Gabriel found the courage to leave the band that made him famous. You're listening to Who Ordered the Pie, the podcast where music, stories, and a little something in your glass all come together. On the surface, Solsbury Hill feels like a gentle folk rock tune, played in an unusual 7/4 groove. It isn't showy, but it's quietly daring, because beneath the bounce is a coded resignation letter, a message about letting go, even if it terrifies you. By the mid-70s, Genesis was one of the biggest progressive rock bands on the planet, filling theaters, building imaginary worlds on stage, and with a fiercely loyal fan base. But behind the elaborate costumes and fantastical stories, Peter Gabriel was struggling. He was exhausted from the road, uneasy with the band's creative direction, and dealing with major changes at home. His wife was pregnant, and Gabriel wanted to be present, not swallowed up by endless touring. He later said, "It was a very painful decision, but I knew if I stayed in Genesis, I wouldn't grow." And during that period of uncertainty, Gabriel visited Solsbury Hill, an ancient Iron Age fort near Bath. Standing on the bluff above the city, he had what he described as a spiritual moment. A flash of clarity. That experience became the spark for the song that explained exactly why he walked away.
Climbing up on Solsbury Hill, I could see the city light.
From the very first verse, Gabriel lays out the emotional landscape. He's stepping above his life, getting emotional and physical distance. Wind was blowing, time stood still.
Eagle flew out of the night.
The eagle, a universal sign of freedom, appears immediately, a sudden symbolic interruption. He was something to observe. Came in close, I heard a voice. Standing, stretching every nerve. Had to listen, had no choice.
Had to listen, had no choice.
Now, I love the inflection in his voice right there. There's resignation, but there's also commitment, like he already knows the decision's made. This moment isn't gentle, it's urgent. Change is shouting in his ear. The next line is, I did not believe the information, just had to trust imagination. Logic fails, and instinct takes over.
My heart going boom, boom, boom. Son, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home.
And coming home isn't fame calling, it's identity calling, a return to himself. And right there, the music opens up. The pulse gets stronger, the drums kick in, and the whole arrangement becomes more dynamic. It's as if the music is confirming the message. Go, now. The music heartbeat softens here, a subtle exhale as we return to the refrain.
To keep in silence, I resigned.
To keep in silence, I resigned. My friends would think I was a nut. Turning water into wine, open doors would soon be shut. He quits quietly, knowing that most will think he's lost it. Walking away from success means he will slam the door behind him. And turning water into wine, well, that's a reference to everything he did with Genesis just went gold. What's going to happen now?
So I went from day to day.
Though my life was in a rut, till I thought of what I'd say, which connection I should cut. He's stuck, living in the same story on repeat. Now the question becomes, who and what does he leave behind?
I was feeling part of the scenery. I walked right out of the machinery.
He felt invisible, a cog inside the Genesis machine, so he walked out.
Hey, he said, grab your things, I've come to take you home.
And once more that heartbeat comes back, steady and insistent, calling him forward.
Hey, back home.
Then follows the next verse. When illusions spin her net, I'm never where I want to be. And liberty she pirouette when I think that I am free. It feels like he's saying fame is a trap. Freedom keeps dancing just out of reach. Every time he thinks he's breaking away, something, expectations, pressure, image, something pulls him back.
Watched by empty silhouette.
Watched by empty silhouettes, who close their eyes but still can't see. No one taught them etiquette. I will show another me. Now, fun little detail here. He almost sings etiquette to make the word snap into the rhythm.
No one taught them etiquette.
It's a tiny choice, but it shows he's willing to bend language to serve the emotional pulse of the song. And beyond the craft, there's something deeper here. He's judged by people who don't bother to truly see him, yet they still feel entitled to define who he is. They watch from the edges, half engaged, half informed, still convinced that they understand the man behind the music. So he decides he'll redefine himself on his own terms and let that be the version that the world meets next. I'll tell them what the smile on my face meant. He didn't leave to join something new. He left to become who he really was. Finally, acceptance. He's ready to let go of everything he owned, to follow the truth that's calling him home. Now, before we leave the song behind, listen to what's happening sonically here. If you throw on headphones, you'll catch a subtle flanging, the swirling, phase-shifting movement that makes the instruments feel like they're sliding in and out of focus. It creates this quiet uneasiness, almost as if the ground is gently tilting under him. What's wild is how it sits against the steady acoustic riff, this calm, pulsating guitar anchoring the song. That riff feels like it's center, part of him that knows what he has to do. And when the chorus hits, the mix widens. The drums lift, the space opens up, and suddenly everything feels bigger, more certain. It's the emotional shift from private wrestling to a kind of public declaration. The song keeps moving forward between those two worlds, quiet inner questioning and bold forward motion. And that tension makes the song feel alive, like we're hearing him figure it out in real time. When Gabriel left Genesis in 1975, the press panicked. Melody Maker ran the headline, "Gabriel out of Genesis? Is this the end?" Fans wondered if the band could survive. Genesis did keep going, and Phil Collins stepped in on lead vocals, as most of us know. But Gabriel, meanwhile, stepped into this kind of creative solitude, rebuilding his identity on his own terms. In February 1977, he released Solsbury Hill as the lead single from his debut album. It reached number 13 in the UK and number 68 in the US. Modest numbers, but the song only grew in stature. Over time, Solsbury Hill became the soundtrack to transformation, appearing in film, TV, and ads, usually underscoring a moment where somebody takes a leap of faith. It proved it could stand alone. Peter Gabriel's solo career blossomed from the heartfelt In Your Eyes to the shrill Games Without Frontiers and the explosive Sledgehammer. And Genesis soared too. Phil Collins later said, "We didn't want him to go, but Peter had to. He needed to find himself, and in the end, it worked out for all of us." Peter Gabriel's choice echoes in the very heart of Solsbury Hill. Reinvention is terrifying but necessary. It wasn't just a farewell to Genesis, it was a leap into the unknown, a declaration of independence. Proof that sometimes the only way to grow is to walk away, and I think that's part of why the song resonates with me. Growing up, there were moments where I had to step away from what was expected to figure out what I was supposed to be. Solsbury Hill feels like that set to music. Well, we followed Gabriel up the hill, now let's follow him back down to the bar. Today's cocktail is light, fresh, and just a little unexpected. I call it the Solsbury Spritz. You start with a chilled wine glass filled with ice, add 2 ounces of London dry gin, add 1 ounce of elderflower liqueur, I recommend St. Germain's, add 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice, then stir that gently and top it off with sparkling wine or Prosecco. Garnish with a lemon wheel and a sprig of thyme. The elderflower brings meadow-sweet florals, the lemon adds a little crisp, and the sparkling wine gives it this buoyancy, like a calm wind rushing over the hill. It's refreshing, delicate, quietly bold, just like Peter Gabriel's choice to step away. Solsbury Hill isn't just about Peter Gabriel. It's about those moments when the heart whispers go, even when the world tells you to stay. Gabriel once said, Solsbury Hill is about being prepared to lose what you have for what you might get. It's about letting go. And that's the heartbeat of the song, and why it still resonates nearly 50 years later. Well, thanks for listening to episode 8 of Who Ordered the Pie. And the next time Solsbury Hill finds you, let it remind you that what feels off balance might actually be alignment. Sometimes the path begins the moment you step away. If you enjoyed today's stories and cocktail, swing by whoorderedpie.com. You'll find every cocktail recipe we've covered so far, all printer-friendly, and a backstage door where you can share what's on your mind. We'd love to hear from you. A few listeners have already reached out with ideas for future episodes, bands to explore, and even a cocktail pairing. We'd love to add your voice to the mix. So until next time, here's the loud riffs, quiet sips, and the stories in between.